Hello, WrestleNet radio fans. Nate Maxon here, and like I always joke, I do like Jim Ross with the enthusiasm on AEW. It's Friday night. You know
You
what
know what
that
that
means.
means?
I am joined this week by Archie Mitchell. Hello, sir.
What's up, everybody? What's up, Nate?
And welcome to The Slice of Time. 25 years ago in professional wrestling. The verdict is in. I didn't do too shabby by myself last week. So
No, you did not. You did not. The only thing that was missing was the indie results.
yeah, well, it's like I told Archie before I did the show last week because we had some issues with co-hosting, and I want to thank the week before. I want to thank my high school buddy Matt Brown for popping in with me and doing the show. But the indie results to me are a comedy thing, and you just that doesn't work by yourself. So
I understand that. I understand that.
Skip the indie results last week. There weren't a lot to report anyway. Now you will be happy to know, Archie. There are a fuck ton. There are a fuck ton of indie results this week.
Awesome.
So.
I sure hope it's not a lot of one matches though, because that makes no sense. Like they were in Greenville, South Carolina, and here's one match for 84
one match
people.
one match from the card. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we will start this week's show by going over a news story that we will learn in the weeks to come, never actually came to fruition.
Okay.
Despite dropping buy rates across the board for both the WWF and WCW, multiple sources tell, this is from the Pro Wrestling Torch, this story, that the WWF plans to raise the stakes in the pay-per-view battlefield by offering weekly Saturday night live pay-per-views for $9.95. That was a consideration back then in 1986. Weekly pay-per-views.
Now, it's funny because when TNA jumped into the whole, hey, we're a wrestling company after WCW went out of business, that's what they were doing.
Right.
So you kind of wonder if maybe somebody stole Vince's idea since he never used it, and we're like, we're going to do this. Let's give it a try.
Yeah, let's see here. WWF spokesman Jay Androcino would only confirm WWF is looking into the idea of weekly pay-per-views, saying it was on the drawing board. The weekly events will be priced initially at $9.95, although like the In-Your-House monthly pay-per-views, the price could go up after a few months, perhaps to $12.95.
Right.
Some sources indicate Saturday night at midnight is the slot for that the WWF is planning on offering. Despite plans to add 52 pay-per-views to the schedule, the WWF does not plan to cut back on the 12 monthly Sunday night pay-per-views currently offered. So, I mean, that would have been crazy.
Their roster would have hated them. 2 live shows, or rather, Raw wasn't live yet, and there was no SmackDown, but Raw, and then the house shows, and then a pay-per-view weekly, and then
back then they were still on a heavy house show schedule.
Yeah, they were doing 2 a day because they had, they were cutting up the roster. Wow.
But it never did happen.
Nope.
I'm thinking back to then. Back then, this is 96, I'm 16 years old. There were only like very, very rarely would my mom buy us a pay-per-view.
Right.
Same. A lot of times we would wind up, my stepsister's grandpa liked wrestling. So sometimes he would get Survivor Series or something like that. One of my buddies, Paul, he and I used to watch him at his dad's house. I'd see the Rumble and WrestleMania there. My mom might let me get SummerSlam. I mean, it was just like, I can't even imagine 52 $10 pay-per-views a year.
No. Yeah, like you said, for me it was my granddad and I loved wrestling, and we would always get the big 4.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on who wanted to come over and watch it with us, one of my uncles or a couple of cousins or something. And then when they started with the other pay-per-views In Your House and all these other ones, my buddies would usually buy them. And because it was a Sunday going into Monday, my parents were okay with me going over and watching it to their house.
Right.
But then I'd have to be home immediately afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I rarely bought a pay-per-view in my own home, so.
Yeah.
Until I got older.
It was always cool about the Royal Rumble back then. Until, what was it, probably 94 or 95? The Rumble was on Saturdays. They always had the Royal Rumble on Saturdays. Yep. So, like, me and my buddy Paul would get to watch the Rumble, and then we'd be able to stay up as late as we wanted, play with our Hasbros, and have our own Royal Rumble.
Yep.
And yeah, so that was always cool. But yeah, that's crazy. Weekly pay-per-views. I never did the TNA pay-per-views when it was a TNA when it
I
was a
bought
pay-per-view
2.
promotion.
I bought 2, and how could I explain it to you, Nate? It was just to see. I bought one like week 5, and then one like 6 months in, and it was just because I had to see what was going on. And then when I realized it was basically just a weekly TV show on pay-per-view, I was like, okay, I don't have to watch these. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could read the results, and eventually they'll get a TV deal, which they did. You know. So.
All right, let's see. WWF news here. Despite what local correspondents despite what local correspondents reported was announced on Indianapolis syndicated television last weekend as the lineup for the October In Your House in Indianapolis, the WWF front office has Shawn Michaels versus Goldust as the main event, plus Sid versus Vader, the Godwins versus the Guns, Mankind versus Undertaker, the Body Donnas versus Owen Hart, and British Bulldog was pulled due to the extent of Skip's neck injury. Right. So the October pay-per-view, Michaels winds up not even being on it.
Right.
Sid and Vader is actually the main event because they fight to see who's the number one contender for Survivor Series.
Right.
And so, yeah, Shawn doesn't even wrestle on that.
And then they put Goldust against The Undertaker in a casket match, and then Mankind got involved.
Yes, they did. Yep.
Yeah, so they continued the Mankind storyline, but Goldust was sprinkled in a little bit, you know, so this way it didn't get too boring.
The WWF is subtly hyping a Michaels versus Mankind feud, yet it's not listed on any major upcoming events. Right. Now, it does wind up being the main event for the September In Your House, which is Mind Games, which is one of the greatest matches ever. Shawn Michaels.
In my opinion, it was fantastic, and I recently watched a shoot interview with Mick Foley, where he said the spot where Shawn goes to do the moonsault and Mick moves, and Shawn freaks out on him and smacks him a couple times. Everybody thought that was just Shawn being Shawn again, like he did against Vader, where he kicked him and went off on him. That was a planned spot. Mick said, Shawn, we need to use your hot temper and make people think you're belittling me. So we're going to use this as a spot. And Shawn was all for it because that was just Shawn.
Well, so those two liked each other. Shawn and Mick. Mick always says that as much of an asshole as Shawn was back then, he was never an asshole to Mick.
Right. You know, they got along.
Yeah.
The biggest thing he ever said to Mick was after the match was, how the hell do you do this on a nightly basis? Because you went through a table, you got thrown into the barbed wire or whatever. It's like, how do you do this so much? So,
let's see. All references to the new WWF generation have been dropped, apparently in part because of the loss of 2 of its leaders, Hall and Nash, but also because it sounds too much like New World Order.
I guess so. I mean, I think it was just because they realized how cartoony and kiddie it was.
Yeah, that and this is late '96. They're about to go into a phase where they're trying to find a new identity.
Right.
They're trying to, the new generation thing. Although at the time I thought the WWF had a better product personally, but that thing just wasn't working in combating WCW. So, and then ultimately we know we're going to wind up with Attitude here within a year or two.
Yep. Paul Heyman always says when Vince McMahon started that whole promotion of WWF Attitude and get the F out and all that, Paul was like so pissed. It was like, you stole it from me. I didn't have anything and you stole it from me. You know?
Right. Let's see here. Anything else interesting? In a response to a report 2 weeks ago, which said WCW sources felt the WWF was backing down on the lawsuit, Titan attorney Jerry McDevitt tells us that's not true. For your information, your facts are totally wrong, he said. My client intends to vigorously prosecute the lawsuit in order to prepare it for trial, and we will now focus on the money damage aspect of the case. The evidentiary hearing the court had scheduled for August 19th to address one aspect of Titan Sports' lawsuit against WCW. Titan request for a preliminary injunction will not take place after all. In lieu of the bearing, WCW agreed to a consent order in which WCW agrees not to refer to Hall and Nash as Razor Ramon, the Bad Guy, Diesel, or Big Daddy Cool.
They weren't, though.
Back when the wrestling promotions were at such each other's throat that they were throwing bullshit lawsuits at each other.
Yeah, I mean, here's the crack up, though. The way that the lawyer worded, "No, you're wrong and your facts are wrong," was so childish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You guys suck.
Yeah, you guys suck. We're not giving up. We're getting everything from you guys. It's just, I find it funny that WCW and WWF were throwing lawsuits at each other. None would stick. But then Paul Heyman would throw lawsuits at them, and they would stick, and he'd get money, or he'd get to use talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like nobody ever knew that was what was going on behind the scenes, because Paul wasn't coming on the air during ECW. Going, I'm going to sue you guys, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do it. Meanwhile, Vince and Eric were. They were constantly boasting about how they were going to do this and that to each other. So maybe the silent but deadly treatment from Paul Heyman worked on a grander scale to get what he wanted.
Yeah, well, and he comes from a family of lawyers, doesn't he?
I think so.
Apparently they're good ones, because he won a lot back then.
Right.
Let's see. One final note here in the WWF after staff cutbacks over the last 15 months, which the WWF did do a lot of cutting back in 95 and 96. The WWF had more office space than needed, so they recently leased out one floor of Titan Tower to an accounting firm. So there's that, getting a little money back.
Hey, why did our rent go up? Ratings are down, buddy.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's take a look at the results real quick from Raw from August 12th, 96. This was from, it was recorded whenever they did that one in Seattle. This is from the Seattle record. I was thinking about it when I was reading, getting all this information up earlier, and I saw that this was from that Seattle taping.
Right.
Back then when Raw would be on I don't know why, but didn't it always feel different when it was on the West Coast? It always had like a different feeling if they were in Seattle or when they would be in Stockton, California or whatever.
Yeah. The crowds were a little more uppity, I think. You know what I mean?
Probably because there it would be 6 in the evening instead of 9 in the evening?
They'd start and they'd finish probably by 10 or 11 when they were on the West Coast. On the East Coast or, even Midwest, they weren't done till 1 or 2 in the morning because they had to film 3 or 4 episodes. Right. God forbid they had to stop and retape something.
It's except when they went to Los Angeles. Los Angeles crowds are always. Who was it? Randy Orton, I think, said he doesn't like performing. He doesn't like when WWE goes to LA because LA crowds are really hard to please because they see everything all the time. They see movie stars walking down the street. They see, all the shows and the movie studios and all that. It's hard to please an LA crowd because they see everything.
Definitely.
They're surrounded by celebrities and all that jazz. So let's see the results from this Raw though. Farouk beat Skip. So he beat his manager's boyfriend. I don't even know if they were still together at this time, Skip and Sonny.
Yeah,
Crush.
I can tell with those two.
Yeah, the timeline's always screwed up. Like, were they together then or not? Because there were times where they were apart and then they got back together.
Right.
And then, let's see, Crush beat Savio Vega with a submission full Nelson. Henry and Phineas Godwin defeated TL Hopper and which is Jim Neidhart.
Yep. Why they chose to bring him back under a mask is beyond me.
Yeah, it's like, what? Stu Hart called up and Vince and said, hey, you got to hire the big rhino there. You put him under a mask. I don't know who you'll call him, but who?
It's like, who?
Who's on first?
It's such good shit. For like the first week or two when he debuted, I think he was Dr. X, and then he was Doctor Who, and then he just became Who. And I just never, and I didn't know it was Jim Neidhart until like the last couple of years recently. Right. When, watching like best of countdowns or whatever. And I was like, why did they do this to Jim Neidhart? I mean, he could have still been Jim Neidhart and, been a heavy for Bret Hart as a face or whatever. He didn't have to go under a mask and hide.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You got to join Camp Cornette.
Exactly. Exactly. Him and Vader as a tag team would have been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But
let's see. Then the last match of this Raw, World Champion Shawn Michaels defeated Owen Hart in a non-title match.
And that was a really good match.
It was. And
I
then
watched
after
it
the
recently.
after the match, Vader brutalized the champion and hit the Vader bomb twice before Michaels was pulled out of the ring by officials. But you're right, that is one of Owen and Shawn's better matches.
Yeah.
Their favorite match of mine, the two of them against each other, is probably the one from the In Your House, where Shawn puts his title match on the line.
Yes, the Royal Rumble match, yeah.
Yeah, but this match is, that was a really good, this is a really good match.
They always meshed so well together. It didn't matter what they were doing or why, what it was for. Even when it was just with Shawn versus Owen again. It's not like today's wrestling when you see a match for like 4 weeks in a row. You're like, Jesus Christ, a rematch.
Yeah.
When you heard it was Owen versus Shawn, you were like, oh, okay. Are they the main event? Are they opening what? Just tell me what we're watching here.
It's always funny, too, because I've always heard through shoot interviews. Obviously, Owen never did a shoot interview. But through like shoot interviews with Neidhart and Davey and et cetera, it's funny because as much as Shawn and Brett hated each other, Shawn
and Owen were cool.
Yeah, well, no, Shawn really got along with Owen and the Bulldog. Like they were all cool with each other.
Right.
Shawn and Brett were like oil and water, man.
But I think that mostly came down to Brett thinking Shawn always wanted to take his spot, which I'm sure was true to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was more like Brett felt Shawn Michaels wants to be me. No, Shawn Michaels wants to be the face of the company. He doesn't want to be Bret Hart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then Shawn, when he would get to the top of the mountain, if he got pecked back down and they went back to Brett, Shawn would always feel like, well, Vince must, prefer Brett over me, even though I'm Vince's boy. So it was kind of like two children battling for their dad's respect or, whatever, the pat on the back. And Brett was the real bitchy one, because even to this day, he's still bitching about it.
Yeah,
So...
Oh, Brett.
I love him. I love Bret Hart. I will never say I'm not a Bret Hart fan. But when he started criticizing, look, you want to criticize Hulk Hogan, that's one thing. You and Hulk Hogan never got along because you couldn't get that match you guys wanted. And it was always because he wanted you to put him over. You want to criticize Shawn and the screw job? Yes, by all means, go for it. But you're criticizing Randy Savage, Ric Flair, Mick Foley, Seth Rollins for no reason whatsoever. Sting. It's like these guys did nothing wrong to you.
Right. Yeah. He's just always got to keep his name out there.
Yeah.
It's like, let your body of work speak for you. We all loved you, Brett. Why do you got to be so bitter?
Like a year go by.
You're very wealthy, living in your chateau in Italy. What's the problem?
Right. With your beautiful wife.
Yeah.
But it's like a year go by, no one will mention Brett, then he'll do a shoot interview. Be like, you know who I hate? I hate Zach Gowen and his one leg. It's like, what? Why?
Yeah.
It's like, why are you even doing this?
That no good, lousy Darren Drozdoff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a lot of WCW news here. Let's see what it's got here, though. Beginning August 24th, WCW main event moves to Saturday morning, and WCW Pro moves to Sunday with a start time of 5:05 p.m. The lineup for the September 22nd War Games pay-per-view has been modified. The main event now features the NWO versus Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Sting, and Lex Luger. Originally, it was the NWO versus the Four Horsemen. Let's see here. And you know what? That is it. That is it for WCW news for this week. Not a heavy news week this week.
Now, see, you mentioned War Games. We know what's about to happen, obviously, with Sting, Luger, Flair, and Anderson. And the reason Sting wasn't really there and they were able to get over with the whole this is the fake Sting thing, we all know is because Sting was in Japan promoting New Japan and WCW coming together as one, becoming a partnership. And yet the storyline always being Lex Luger, like, Sting turned, he's in the NWO.
Right.
I said this a couple weeks ago. Whenever people thought Lex Luger was going to turn and join the Dungeon of Doom, Sting would always yell at Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, he's my best friend. Please give him another chance. I love him. He's my brother. We've known each other for 20 years. Please, Hulk. And Hulk Hogan would back off and go, no problem. The minutes there was even the hint of Sting possibly turning, Lex Luger didn't say, Sting's my best friend. Please, let's give him another opportunity. No, he immediately said, Sting attacked me.
Yeah.
He turned. You know what I mean?
There's a character flaw there. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, where was the good friendship? Where was the relationship? Went right out the window.
What a dick Luger is in this whole situation.
Without a doubt.
All right, let's see. The Nitro for August 12th. They're in Casper, Wyoming. So Eric Bischoff's close to home this week.
Right.
The Dungeon of Doom. Hugh Morris, Kevin Sullivan, Meng, and the Barbarian beat High Voltage and Rough and Ready, who would be Kenny Chaos, Robbie Rage, Dick Slater, and Mike Enos.
That is a pretty powerhouse
matchup it is. There. I'm sure there was lots of potatoes in that ring.
Oh, right yeah.
There. DDP beat the Renegade. Conan beat Jim Powers. Chris Benoit beat Big Ron Studd. The Steiner brothers beat Harlem Heat. This report doesn't have any of the actual site, like the interviews or anything listed in it. Rey Mysterio beat the Ultimate Dragon. Ric Flair defeated Randy Savage, and Lex Luger and Sting versus the Outsiders went to a no contest. I'm sure there was some sort of schmazzo there.
Pretty powerhouse card though. There wasn't really a bad match on the card. Decent
sounding Nitro.
Yeah.
And then we have, here we go. This week also features on August 15th, a Clash of the Champions. This week from Denver on TBS.
Yep.
So let's see here.
Might have been one of the last clashes they had, actually.
I think the last clash is in February of 97, I believe. So, we're getting close to the end of the Clash. I always
loved the Clash of the Champions, dating back to the first one, which I didn't watch live, obviously, because I was too young. But, you know, it gave you a shot at least 4 times a year to see a pay-per-view quality show.
Yes.
Without buying a pay-per-view.
Yes.
You know? Or at least the first 10 did.
You
know, I mean, after that, after Sting versus Flair, when they unified the titles, it went downhill. It was just like, okay, we're going to do Hogan and Macho versus Sting and Anderson again. Giant's going to interfere, and then we're going to talk about it on Monday Nitro. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. It was like, after Nitro started, it became like just another Nitro,
right?
But less interviews, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Let's see how this one went down. Rey Mysterio Jr. beat Dean Malenko at 12-16 to retain the Cruiserweight title.
Probably a banger.
VK Wall Street pinned Hacksaw Jim Duggan, because the match that always happens. Like, these guys just are always wrestling each other. It's Tenta and Big Bubba and Duggan and VK Wall Street.
Yep. That should have been like a taped fist on a pole match or something. You know,
this one, this one wasn't. I'm sure they had one.
No, I don't think they did, but you know, the thing about it was okay, Tenta and Bubba, it wasn't horrible, it wasn't great though. They had a reason to be feuding. Wall Street and Duggan just started feuding. It was just like, okay, we're gonna take these two decent guys, let them fight, but the ending is always gonna be Hacksaw winding up, throwing the tape in the air, wrapping his fist, and attempting to hit Michael Wall Street in the face.
Well, we discussed, I think it was 2 weeks ago. So I think it was one of the shows that you weren't with me. We discussed when the NWO first started up.
Right.
You know, they had Duggan doing those promos talking about Hogan.
Right.
You know, calling him Terry. And I don't think they ever paid that off.
No.
I don't think there was ever a Duggan Hogan match.
No.
To even pay that off.
Hogan never even so much as attacked Duggan, actually.
And I'm not saying they should have had a pay-per-view match or anything, but they could have at least done it on Nitro.
Well, here's the thing. I could remember also that when they would have those big brawls between WCW and the NWO, I don't remember Hacksaw being a focal point. Right. So it was like he was calling out Hogan, but on his own, not with WCW. Even though he was wearing gold and purple and had the big WCW flag, he wasn't there whenever WCW would be fighting.
Yeah.
So it never made any sense. You're calling out Hogan, great and well. Okay, why are you not at the forefront? You know,
exactly.
Where are you?
All he ever did was carry around that big purple flag. That ain't
which was
doing us
too
no.
big.
Yeah, that ain't doing us no good, Duggan. Get in here and help. Conan pinned the Ultimate Dragon.
Wow.
Let's see here. I'm just looking at trying to find the finish. Oh, okay. So he pulled Dragon's tights to win.
Okay.
A little funny note here in the match description. Dragon hit a moonsault on Conan's back and rolled him up with the La Magistral. When Tenay called the move, Heenan asked him, "How many languages do you speak?"
Of course.
Good old Bobby Heenan.
Classic Bobby.
Let's see. Medusa pinball Nakano.
Mm-hmm. She was getting payback for all those losses in WWF.
Yeah, no kidding. Eddie Guerrero pinned Diamond Dallas Page to win the Battle Bowl ring.
I don't remember that happening.
I don't either. I have no memory of that.
I remember Page had the ring, and then he went broke, and he was doing his whole deal, and then he came back and was better and whatever. But I don't remember him ever losing the Battle Bowl ring, and I don't remember Eddie ever saying, "I'm the Battle Bowl champion." So
yeah, I don't either. Maybe that was just their way to put it to bed. Maybe they didn't be talking about it anymore or whatever. So
you might be right.
The Giant pinned Chris Benoit in 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's when the Giant would just go on tears and beat 4 or 5 people at a time.
Yeah.
He beat Norton, Ice Train, then he beat Alex Wright, and then they let him go to the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Harlem Heat retained the WCW tag titles against Rick and Scott Steiner and Sting and Lex Luger in a triangle match.
That was probably really good.
I don't even remember this clash. Like none of this is sounding familiar to me. So
I remember most of it, but a lot of what happened at this clash happened at the last 2 clashes too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember at one clash it was Harlem Heat versus Luger and Sting. And then I think the Road Warriors came back and they signed a Chicago street fight against Luger and Sting. So this might be just me remembering it because I've heard a lot of the matches before.
Right.
And
in the main event, Ric Flair beat Hulk Hogan via disqualification. So Hogan retained the WCW championship. They just
what I don't remember. I don't remember Flair and Hogan for the title.
Yeah. Well, but also it could be because they'd had Flair and Hogan for the title so many times you don't remember which match it was, because one of Hulk Hogan's favorite things in WCW to do was fucking beat Ric Flair.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Yep. It's almost like he heard that Vince might have let him lose to him in WWF. So then when he got to WCW, he talked to Bischoff that you got to let me beat Flair.
Right.
Doesn't matter where we are, what we're doing. But he could beat Randy. He could beat Randy as much as you want, but I got to beat Flair every time we fight.
I go over, brother.
Right.
Yeah.
Randy's around the corner. He's like, what are you guys talking about? Nothing. Nothing.
Let's see here. The only, and then we'll go through the TV, but the only news note of ECW this week is that Kimona has quit the company, apparently not happy with her lack of exposure. She got plenty of exposure, if you ask me. Hey-o.
Especially when she was on top of the ECW arena.
She became an indelible point in history of ECW.
Every damn commercial.
Yes. And the funny thing about it is it wasn't even supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. Wasn't it because the ring broke or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
They needed like 20 minutes to put shit back together. And of all, like, okay, I know she wasn't exactly a wrestler. God knows where they found her, probably at Scores or something like that. But, okay, the ring breaks. Dude, we got to kill like 30 minutes, Paul. What are we going to do? Go get me Kimona. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She comes out. What do you want me to do, Paul? You're going to put on a towel and you're going to strip tease on top of the ECW arena. All right.
Well, that was something that on the recent edition of Reliving the Extreme that Chad Austin brought up. We were talking because we're getting into the point in ECW now where you're really, really starting to see Paulie's booking take over.
Right.
And one thing I mentioned to him was, as we're watching and you're seeing how Paulie puts the pieces into place and everything, I was like, so who do you think was a better booker? Because Chad's a big fan of Eddie Gilbert.
Right.
So my question to him was, okay, so watching all this, who's a better booker, Paul Heyman or Eddie Gilbert? And he said Paul, but because he said, Paul, literally, if you watch the history of ECW, a lot of times he didn't have a steady roster. So
Right.
essentially, Paul Heyman's just standing back there looking out over the ledge at who he's got available that night and writing a
Right.
story in his head, doing the best he can with the talent he's got.
Exactly.
Improv.
Exactly. And if the thing of it was, he also had a lot of egos that, it's not like what a Vince McMahon or an Eric Bischoff. Okay, Randy, you're going to lose tonight to Rick, but Rick, you're going to lose tomorrow to Hogan, and Hogan, you're going to lose by DQ to the Giant. With ECW, it was like, okay, Taz, you're losing to Sabu. Fuck you, brother. I'm not losing to nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It never. He didn't have that same quality. There were too many egos that when he got to like 97, 98, he really had to watch out what he was booking, or else these guys would have said, no, I'm leaving, and walked out the door.
Right.
It wasn't easy for him. So
the episode of ECW TV from this week is actually from the ECW card. Let's see here. Yeah, this is actually a card from Japan.
Okay.
The ECW. So there's a lot of footage. I'm not going to run down because there's a lot of footage of just like they're talking about how they have clips of, Japanese people buying ECW merchandise and et cetera,
Right.
et cetera. Highlights aired of Bubba Ray Dudley versus Tarzan Goto and Terry Gordy versus one of the Blackhearts.
Okay.
The Eliminators beat Yamada and Takasho Okano. Japanese thing. And Raven defeated Tommy Dreamer to retain the ECW Heavyweight
Of course he did. Of course he did. That's how 80% of ECW ended in that time.
It says here that the show is recorded in Tokyo, but it doesn't say where in Tokyo. I don't think they were in the Tokyo Dome.
Right.
Actually, no. Wait.
It might have been in Corkin Hall.
That, or they might have been in that that little, not actual Tokyo Dome proper, but in that little arena that's in the complex or whatever.
Right.
Because it says here they did show scenes of downtown Tokyo and the Tokyo Dome.
Okay.
So, yeah. But
now, this was probably all leading to the Sabu RVD versus Hayabusa Hakushi match, right?
I assume so.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I guess when Oneta came in too, because they got Oneta for a little while.
Mm-hmm. That was probably a Paul Heyman wet dream to have Oneta as part of the ECW. All right, so guess what?
What?
That's that. That's the hit. That's ECW, WWF, and WCW.
Is it time?
After I pee, yes. I'm going to write this timestamp down.
Go right ahead. I will be here.
I might have a quick smoke, too. I'll be right
Go ahead. Take your time.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back, sir.
38. Yes, Archie, it is time.
It's indie time. Yes.
And we have a venerable cornucopia of indie results here this week, so I'm pretty excited for this. I usually go through, or I try to go through before we start and see, okay, what's the big story? Is there anything I think we're going to talk about for a while? Blah, blah, blah. I do not read these indie results because I want to be surprised by them as we read them. So as I stumble through them, let's see what we got going on here. Ready?
I'm ready.
July 19th in Erlanger, Kentucky. Psycho Sam Cody beat Ike Jones. The Country Rough Riders. That doesn't sound inappropriate.
They might be going with what did we call on Aaron's show?
Oh,
what was it? The Demolition Boy. What was it?
Oh no, oh man, it was the Dynamic Dudes, but it was the shit.
I can't remember.
I can't either.
That might beat it. Well, that might be those names. The Rough Rider Boys, or yeah,
the Country Rough Riders. They fought beautiful Bobby Harmon and King Kahuna to a draw. King Kahuna.
So everybody's stealing everybody's gimmick. Psycho and Beautiful and
yeah, they got their own beautiful Bobby.
Yeah.
Chris Justice fought Damien and Tyron to a no contest.
Is it Damien and Tyron?
Yes,
or
Damien and Tyron. So I assume it was a handicap
match. Has to be, yeah.
And these two jabronis only have first names.
Right.
The Spoiler and the Tower of Doom. Tower of Doom sounds like a team more than a person, but anyway.
Right.
Beat Bret Michaels and Andy Runyon to retain the NWF Tag Team titles.
Okay.
The Barroom Brawler beat Crusher Bones. He's going to crush your bones.
Your bones, yep. Yep.
weird name. Not the first guy, but the second guy. Wildcat Chris Harris. I didn't even know he was wrestling in '96.
Yeah,
I didn't know he had even started yet.
Yeah,
well, he went to a double disqualification with unpredictable Jamot.
You know what's unpredictable is that his first name was going to be Jamot.
Yes, so it could not predict could not predict that one. And in the main event, or I don't know if it was the main event, Ivory Nichols beat the Spoiler.
Spoiler pulled double duty.
Yeah, and I'm sure it wasn't Don Jardine, the Spoiler, either.
No, I don't think so.
It was some fat ass in a mask or something.
Yeah.
July 20th in Prince Hill, Ohio, at the Salvation Army.
Ooh.
I hope it was in the parking lot. Oh my God, he hit him with a trinket. Jamot's back.
Oh.
And this time he beat Chris Harris in a Texas death match.
Well, because he's unpredictable.
Gino Caruso pinned King Kahuna.
Poor Kahuna.
Katie Kincaid pinned Katra.
Try saying that name 5 times fast.
Katie Kincaid or Katra?
No, Katie Kincaid.
If you say it 5 times fast in the mirror, a shitty indie female wrestler appears.
Right.
Larry Winters, our old friend from ECW, Larry Winters and Ron Shaw beat the Lost Boys. The Lost Boys, to me, sound like they were somebody. Were they somebody?
They were heavy on the indie scene, because I know I used to see their name a lot. I believe they had weird names like Azrael and something like, you know what I mean? It was very biblical.
Mm-hmm.
So they were vampires, though. They were, taken from the movie. So
Tony Atlas pinned the Lumberjack.
Okay.
And Nikolai Volkov pinned the Mad Russian.
I thought Nikolai Volkov was the Mad Russian.
Exactly. I was about to say. It's a split personality kind of deal here.
Yeah. He's fighting himself.
Yardville, New Jersey. Yardville, New Jersey. Is that your neck of the woods?
Probably about an hour away.
Okay. July 20th, promoted by Dennis Coraluzzo.
Mm-hmm.
Gino Caruso. Everybody knows that name if you read the magazines back in the day. Pinned Crazy Ivan. Go ahead.
You think Crazy Ivan and the Mad Russian ever teamed together with Nikolai Volkov as their manager?
And then they broke up, and Nikolai and the Mad Russian had a feud.
Right.
Psychotron beat J.R. Ryder.
Psychotron. Sounds like a bad horror movie.
Inferno Kid pinned Rockin' Rico.
I've heard both those names before.
We know these guys. Reckless Youth pinned Tracy Smothers.
Yep.
Mr. Puerto Rico and Lester Muhammad. Pinned beat Johnny Mantel and Cousin Luke.
Lester Muhammad, white guy who found Allah.
Has to be. Twiggy Ramirez.
Heard that name before.
And Adrian Hall beat Bad Attitude. I don't know who Bad Attitude was, but
I know they were Bobby Eaton and Steve Kearns in WCW, but I don't know who they are in the indie scene.
The man who was on Reliving the Extreme just a few weeks ago, the Iron Man, Tommy Cairo, and Derek Domino beat Ian Rotten and Madman Pondo.
That was probably a hardcore nightmare of a match.
True. Ian's fucking terrible. Madman Pondo's fucking terrible. I like Tommy, and I liked Derek Domino too. I actually expected Derek Domino to be a bigger deal than he was.
Right.
But I have nothing really positive to say about either Ian Rotten or Madman Pondo. I've never seen either one of them in do anything that I liked.
No. Ian has no redeeming qualities.
And he's still doing, as Cornette would say, outlaw mud show bullshit.
Right.
Out there, still promoting his crappy wrestling shows.
Yep. That's why Axel was smart enough to move away from him and stick with ECW and actually try to be a wrestler as opposed to just a hardcore maniac.
Yeah. Iron Sheik beat Rick Ratchet by submission. I'm sure an indie show in 96, Iron Sheik is not given 100%.
But he's being cheered galore.
Yeah.
The fans are loving that he's there. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter what he's doing.
And break your back and make you humble, Bubba.
Yeah.
All right, hey, we're going across the pond here. European Wrestling Federation in Saint-Sumer, France.
We're guaranteed not to know any of these people.
Yeah, no shit. Let's see. Bernard Van Mee beat Mr. Jackie via disqualification.
Mr. Jackie.
Yes, Mr. Jackie.
I picture him wearing jeans and a really wrinkled dress shirt and carrying a purse because, like, his wife is shopping. Hello, I'm Mr. Jackie.
I'm Mr. Jackie.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Jackie.
Mano Negra, which I think means black man.
Yes, I believe you're right, but we're gonna have to Google Translate and see if we're wrong.
He beat Cedric Legalou.
Okay.
Bad Boy Slim beat Ted Fly.
Okay.
This name's kind of kinky. Flesh Gordon.
Flesh?
It sounds like a porn.
Yeah.
Instead of Flash Gordon, it's Flesh Gordon. Beat Scotty Ryder.
Scotty Ryder. His opponent didn't have much better of a name.
No,
sounds
really.
like an actor from the movie.
This is a very, very perverted match here. Roland de Vancouver. Beat Sylvain Bourdet.
Roland isn't really from France. He's from Canada. Hence the Vancouver. Yes.
And then Flesh Gordon's back here.
Oh, no.
Because he and his partner Van Dam, spelled Damme, beat Bad Boy Slim and Black Man, or Mano Negra. So there's our international indie match here. God. All right.
I would like to have seen Flesh Gordon go up against Black Man or Mano Negra.
The Pornhub match.
Yeah. Flesh Gordon versus Mano Negra.
Northeast Wrestling, July 15th in Poughkeepsie, New York, at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center.
Ooh.
Damn, there were some Raws that came from the Mid-Hudson Civic Center back in the day.
Yep.
Ralph Lervex beat Viper.
Okay.
Skip, which obviously is Chris Candido, with Cloudy.
Oh.
Beat Surfer Ray Odyssey with Sunny.
Okay.
Interesting.
I would have liked to have seen that match, actually.
Damage Incorporated beat Rocky Shane and Italian Sensation.
Okay.
Johnny Handsome beat Supernova to capture the NEW light heavyweight title in a ladder match.
I picture Johnny Handsome being the ugliest thing walking to the ring, though. Because nobody who has those... Like, you think of the Heavenly Bodies.
Yeah.
Bigelow, Jimmy Del Rey, he didn't look like a good... You know what I mean? So, with a name like Johnny Handsome, you're expecting a guy with dirt on his face. And,
yeah, no shit.
You know, nothing good coming out of that name.
Let's see here. Jim Neidhart beat Doink the Clown.
Which Doink?
It's probably...
Apollo, right?
Apollo, yeah. Buddha Singh, which was, I think, Boo Bradley, Balls Mahoney. I think that's what he wrestled as, a Buddha Singh. Beat Tony DeVito in a no DQ match.
Yep.
Bam Bam Bigelow beat King Kong Bundy to retain the NEW heavyweight title.
That was probably decent. Not great, but decent.
Yeah.
Because of Bam Bam.
And you know what? We had Skip on the show earlier with Sonny on the show. WWF must have been letting guys work this show, because the main event here is Fatu and Ahmed Johnson beating Primo Carnera Jr. and Tatanka. So
now, Primo Carnera Jr. was on the WWE developmental, I think, at this time.
Yeah, he was wrestling dark matches.
Yeah. So,
all right, they must have lent these people some talent here.
Right.
Probably, a lot of times back then, if you saw WWF talent on a show, it was because like Bruce Pritchard or Jerry Briscoe or somebody was going to scout talent anyway.
Right.
So they would let their workers also go and work the show.
Right.
All right, let's see here. The Great American Wrestling Federation, July 20th in Spruce Pines, North Carolina, 170 in attendance.
Then it wasn't that great, but okay.
Alan Ward beat Chris Steelheart. Ricky Rocket sounds like a cartoon character. Beat Boris Dragoff.
I've heard that name before.
Eddie Den and Stan Lee beat the Orderly and J.D. Sullivan. The Orderly sounds like he should have another partner, and they should just be the Orderlies.
Right.
But anyway.
This is Bruce and Dean, the Orderlies.
Right.
They'll be taking care of you this evening.
Yeah.
Managed by the concierge.
Terminator Rex beat Star Rider.
I've heard that name Terminator Rex before. I don't know why. I can't remember from where, but I know I've heard it before.
Major De Beers beat Iceman Mike Murphy to capture the U.S. title.
Wow, what a bad representative for United States.
Yeah, no shit. Billy Simmons and Sean Powers beat Freight Train Lane, easy for me to say, and Fast Track.
That sounds like a really interesting tag team.
Freight Train Lane
and Fast Track.
Yeah.
No, Freight Train and Fast Track.
And KC Thunder beat Jimmy Torture.
I've heard the name KC Thunder before. JC Torture, that name, I imagine him coming out in demolition gear, but with a dominatrix behind him whipping him.
Yeah.
So, and then when he gets like an arm drag, the guy gets an arm drag on him, she pulls him out of the ring, beats the shit out of him, puts him back in.
Probably coming out to an Alice Cooper song.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. She keeps yelling from ringside, "Do better!" He's yelling, "My safe word is stop. Please. Try to win the match. Try to win this match."
Carolina Championship Wrestling, August 19th in Concord, North Carolina, with 88 in attendance.
Damn.
Mad Max beat David Taylor. I'm assuming that's probably not WCW David
right,
Taylor.
Right, that's what I'm one. Yeah, can't be.
Willie Clay, Beastmaster, and Rick Link beat Killer Force, which I assume is just Killer Force, a three-man team, because it doesn't have any names here.
Killer Force.
Yes, Killer Force.
Sounds like a B movie that you'd find at like Blockbuster.
Yeah,
you know,
on the $3 rack.
Yeah. Mom, can we get Killer Force? No.
But it's got Jesse Ventura in it. Let's see here. And next on this wonderful card, L.A. Stevens beat Super Destroyer.
Okay.
The Cannon and listen to what a way I call bullshit on this one, ripping off the name. The Cannon and his partner, One Man Posse. It's not the one man gang. It's the one man posse.
Now wait a minute though. Hold on. Hold on. I've heard of a one man band.
Yeah.
We've heard of a one man gang, and there can be a one. If a guy is tough enough, you could be a one man gang. How the hell do you get a one man posse?
Posse.
Because a posse is meant to be like 10 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not this guy though. He's a one man posse. Well, they beat White Lightning, which was Tim Jackson and Will from the Hill.
Will from the Hill. White Lightning.
White Lightning.
Just not the names you expect to come out of a tag team with the name White Lightning. You know what I mean? I expect there to KC Thunder and JT Lightning are White Lightning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not Will from the Hill.
It's stupid. Nick of Time beat David Osborne.
Nick of Time. I like it.
And Leon El Gigante, which literally would mean Leon the Giant.
Leon the Giant, yeah.
Beat Super Destroyer.
Now, was Leon the Giant brought into the ring by Mono Negro?
Oh, man, there's a lot going on this week's shows. I'll tell you that. Let's see here. July 21st, Championship Wrestling USA in Vancouver, Washington. Tim Klein beat Bruce E. Anderson.
Okay.
Richie Magnet beat The Bodyguard. He needed. I hope he came out to that Whitney Houston song.
Which one? Oh, yeah. The Bodyguard song.
Oh, wow. I wonder if this is actually how they introduced him. Matt Bourne, the original wrestling clown, beat Michelle Starr.
The original wrestling clown.
That's what he's billed as here. Matt Bourne, the original wrestling clown.
Not the evil clown, not the,
Right.
the sad clown, the original wrestling clown. He walks through the curtain, they say that, he's like, fuck, I'm branded again, okay.
Ole Olsen beat Jesse Barr.
Ole Olsen.
Ole Olsen.
That's worse than Rad Radford.
Yeah. And harder to say.
Right.
Colonel De Beers and Buddy Wayne beat Coco Samoa and Sumitu.
Wow, I wonder if Coco Samoa and Sumitu have like an Islanders gimmick.
I'm sure they do.
They have to, right?
Yeah, it would only make sense. I remember, right. I know the name Coco Samoa, but
no, those were the Girl Scout cookies you bought, Nate.
Oh, sorry. Brian Cox and Sean Stasiak beat Lou Andrews and Dan Rush.
He's Sean Stasiak?
Yep.
Wow.
Very early on before, I think he gets into developmental in 97, so.
Right.
All right, we got the Cajun Wrestling Federation. Ooh. July 21st in Marrero, Louisiana at the American Legion Hall. Hey, they packed in 272.
Okay.
To see Blade Bordeaux beat Lord Humongous.
Heard both names. Well, Lord Humongous was Sid, but I don't know if it was still Sid. It might have just been
not at this point. Yeah, not at this point. It wouldn't have been. Yeah. Sandman, not the original.
Right.
Beat Half-Breed. We heard about Half-Breed last week, I think, or a few weeks ago. He was on.
We've heard about him a couple times, yeah. Yeah.
These guys are just ripping off ECW. Taz, not the original, beat Joe Kane. They were like, fuck it. Let's just call him Taz.
Right. What are they going to do, sue us?
King Carl Fergie beat Tommy Martinelli.
King Carl Fergie.
I remember he was at one point, he was in Memphis for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And he also wrestled in Alabama and Continental for a while, too. I'm not a fan. He's kind of one of those, like, one of those wrestlers that they didn't look like a wrestler. Like,
right.
I don't know, he looks kind of sloppy. But Dwight the Clown, who this time apparently was played by Dusty Wolf, beat Al Savage.
Okay.
The Hard Time Express fought the Cajun Connection to a double countout.
I like that. That sounds like a pretty interesting match.
Tommy Rich wrestled Davey Rich to a double countout.
Were they related?
And that was it. Well, Davey Rich, they were not related. Davey Rich wrestled also in Alabama and Continental and stuff. At this point, he's got to be pretty old. And they were both in the promotion at the same time. They had the same last name, but they never referred to them as brothers or cousins or anything like that. All right, let's see here. August 3rd in Hayward, California, it's All Pro Wrestling at the Pacific Coast Sports Gymnasium, 91 in attendance.
Ooh.
This is APW. Is that what's his name? Who's the guy, the really big dude on Beyond the Mat that's that goes to Raw with Roland Alexander?
Roland Alexander, I think you're right, yeah.
Okay, so this might be, I think APW was his deal.
I thought so, yeah.
91 in attendance. Aaron O'Grady beat Boom Boom Kamini.
Okay.
Chris Cole and Donovan Morgan beat Dwayne Jones and Bill Calhoun.
All right.
Aaron would have fun with this name. Joe Applebomber. I don't know why. Don't you just see Aaron on that name? Like, it's like something you would pick up on. Beat Rick Turner. The Brown Bomber, Robert Thompson, beat Gigolo Stevie Rosano.
Damn.
The Chicano Flame fought El Flamingo to a no contest. I picture El Flamingo being very effeminate.
Right. Now coming to the ring, El Flamingo. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Hola.
Oh,
Cowboy Frank Dalton beat Mike Diamond. And
okay.
this is Roland Alexander because Michael Modest beat Matt Hyson. Matt Hyson, I think, is Spike Dudley.
You might be right. Yes.
All right, so there was that card. Not terrible.
Mike Modest didn't get a good enough shake.
You're not going to start. You're not going to start crying like Roland Alexander did.
No, not at all, not at all. But when he finally got signed by a company, hey Mike, yeah, you're going to be Kiwi.
Yeah.
What? You're going to be Kiwi, and then when we're done with you as Kiwi, we're going to turn you into a split personality and name you Angry Alan Funk. But you're still going to be in the Kiwi outfit. Why?
Good luck.
It's funny. Luck. It's funny. Oh, okay, let's try it.
Yikes. All right, let's see what's next here. I told you there was a lot this week.
Yep, you weren't lying.
I told you. I looked at this. I was like, damn, that's a half hour right there. Hammerlock Wrestling, July 29th. Oh, we're going to cross the pond again in Sittingbourne, England. At the East Street Sports Center, 100 in attendance. Ian Pitbull Johnson beat Adam C. Exclusive.
Okay.
Andrew Baker beat Justin Richards. Gary Steele pinned Tony McMillan. Wildcat fought Tyrone Archer to a draw. Wonder Kid Johnny Storm beat Robbie the Rocker Thomas.
Now I've heard of Johnny Storm before.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I think he used to be bigger in England and things like that. But it might just be a name that's been thrown around though too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a simple name.
Yeah, it should say Johnny Storm, not the original.
Right.
Titan pinned Shiro Nagumi. Andrew Sledgehammer Baker and Alex Shane beat the extremist Justin Richards and the anarchist Doug Williams. I'm assuming that's Doug Williams from TNA fame.
Has to be. I like their names, though, the extremist and the anarchist.
Yeah. That's the whole card. That card actually was, pretty legit. Didn't sound any bullshit on it.
Right.
Hardcore Wrestling Alliance in Albemarle, I think that's how you pronounce it, North Carolina.
Okay.
90 in attendance. The Russian Assassin and Brimstone Shocker. Wait, hold on. And Brimstone Shocker, also known as Hollywood Todd.
How do you... Wait a minute. You're trying to get over what a badass name like Brimstone. Then they saddle you with a third name and make you the Shocker. But then you decide that you also want to be known as Hollywood Todd. I'm picturing so many different things here.
Yeah.
Like he comes out dressed like a druid almost. Like one of the Undertaker's druids. But then when he rips off the big cape and the headdress or whatever, it's like it's a guy in like spandex tights and little sunglasses. Like,
this is actually a fantastic gimmick. Like he could come out with the hood and everything on to like the Death March. And then he takes the thing off and then fucking It's Raining Men or whatever starts playing and he's a completely different guy.
Right. And you're like, damn, they fooled me. I thought he was going to be a badass.
But instead it's Hollywood Todd.
It's Hollywood Todd.
It's me. It's me, Austin. It was Hollywood Todd all along.
Oh, God.
They beat the Carolina Pitbull and the Playboy to retain the HWA tag titles.
They were a tag team?
Yes.
How do you claim the team?
It was the Russian Assassin and Brimstone Shocker, also known as Hollywood Todd. They were a team. I know.
Jesus.
It was a short drive to go, but a long way to get there.
Yeah.
Sweet Dreams beat the Juicer.
Okay.
Venom beat Champagne.
Okay.
Rick Michaels beat High Performance. High Performance sounds like a tag team.
Yeah.
This guy's name is just High Performance. Oh, here we go. Willow of the Wisp.
Jeff Hardy
beat High Voltage Matt Hardy to retain the Southern title.
Oh. Okay.
And then Sweet Dreams beat Star Rider to retain the HWA heavyweight title.
Okay.
Let's see here.
I would like to see the Hardy Boys match. That probably was great.
Especially as young as they were at this point.
Right.
Motor City Wrestling, July 30th in Warren, Michigan at the bowling alley at Regal Lanes.
Okay.
Spider beat Bobcat.
I noticed you didn't tell us how many were in attendance.
It doesn't say.
Right, because everybody was busy bowling.
Yeah, they're bowling.
They weren't really watching the show. They were bowling.
Eating chili dogs and tenderloins.
Right.
Samoan Warrior beat Impaler.
Okay.
The Masked Assassin pinned the Patriot. I'm sure that wasn't Del Welks.
No, can't be.
And Security Force number 2 beat Mentor the Hun. What kind of fucking name is that? Mentor the Hun.
The Hun.
And he's fighting a half of a tag team. He's fighting Security Force not even number 1, number 2.
Right. Well, number 1 was busy checking cards at the bar for any kids that wanted to drink. So.
Yeah, Jesus.
Mentor
All right.
the Hun.
Mentor the Hun. I don't even know what that's supposed to fucking mean.
I guess he's supposed to be like Attila the Hun, but why is he a mentor?
Yeah. Who is he mentoring?
Right.
All right, August 10th, Peach State Wrestling in Cordell, Georgia. Okay. Tony Atlas fought Abdullah the Butcher to a no contest.
Damn, that was probably bloody as hell.
The Rock and Roll Express beat Scott Armstrong and Twisted Sister.
That was probably good.
Yeah, even though I don't know who Twisted Sister is, but still. Rob Van Dam beat Billy Black to win the Cordell City title.
Okay.
Too Cold Scorpio beat Gorgeous George III, who some of you may know as the Maestro from WCW.
Yes.
Rex King beat Lee Thomas. Rex King was half of Well Done.
Yes, he was.
I think he was Timothy Well. He was the brown. He was the brown-haired one, right?
Yeah, Timothy Well. Stephen Dunn was Stephen Dahl.
Yeah, Steve Dahl. Yes. Dave Jericho fought Rick Savage to a draw. Luscious Dale Lucas beat Carolina Kid.
Okay.
The World Star Wrestling Federation, August 3rd in Hazleton, Pennsylvania at the American Legion Hall, 200 in attendance. Gino Caruso beat Hoss Brooks.
Okay.
Katra, here she is again, beat Sammy B. Sweet Daddy beat Stu Braxton, I'm sorry. Sweet Daddy probably talked like Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
The hardened steel beat the Lumberjacks.
The hardened steel.
Yes.
Are they a sword gimmick? Are they a gun gimmick? I don't know.
They're a sword gimmick. Vince would love it, brother.
Yeah.
It's great shit, pal.
Such good shit.
Corporal Punishment beat Mean Paul Mitchell. If you're going to call yourself Mean, you should change your name from Paul Mitchell. Because isn't that a shampoo brand?
It is a shampoo brand. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. You could keep even the last name Mitchell, but change the first name from Paul.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Call yourself Mean Ethan Mitchell or something like that.
Right.
Tommy Idol beat the Mad Russian. Jason Saint Sinner.
Okay.
Beat Johnny Rebel.
All right.
And the Tahitian Savage won a battle royal. There's a lot of things I know about Tahiti. Don't know much about the Savages.
I didn't know if they had Savages. Yeah, I'm not sure.
New Frontier Wrestling Alliance, August 4th, Sanford, North Carolina, 125 in attendance. The Devastator and Simba. He had to come out to the Lion King theme.
As the Lion King, yeah. He comes out to Hakuna Matata. You're going to lose tonight. No worries.
They beat Ice and TC Flexer.
TC Flexer.
Yes.
You expect your name is Ice. Your partner needs to be either called Fire or something. Not TC
Cold.
Flexer. Yeah, cold. Chili, something.
Something. John Savage beat Wolverine, who was apparently another gimmick of Jeff Hardy, to retain the NFWA heavyweight title.
Okay.
Kid Dynamo beat Black Skull.
Okay.
Colt Justice beat Simba. Simba's all over this thing. I wonder if Scar did a run-in. Champagne won a triangle match over Southern Rocker and Punisher.
Okay.
Ethan Storm beat Sweet Dreams.
Sweet Dreams has been on all these cards too.
Yeah. Especially the North. He's in the North Carolina cards. He might be. Maybe he's one of the guys that hung out with the Hardys back then, because the Hardys are on all these shows too.
Maybe.
Willow of the Wisp beat Kid Dynamo, and that of course is Jeff Hardy. August 10th. This one doesn't have a promotion name. It's super indie. August 10th in Houma, Louisiana, at the East Park Rec Center. 250 in attendance.
Wow.
Tommy Martinelli beat T.J. Sullivan.
Okay.
Tasmanian Devil and Twister beat the Ripper and Shogun Warrior.
Okay.
Bronco Bob. Sounds like a
kids TV show.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. Like a Bozo the Clown kind of show.
Yeah. Now introducing our new friend, kids, Bronco Bob. Hey, kids.
Now let's watch
Howdy,
a Tom
kids.
and Jerry. Let's watch a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Yeah.
Bronco Bob beat Motor City Madman.
Okay.
Southern Patriot Eagle beat Southern Patriot Falcon.
They're always feuding.
Yeah, I know. They're running a program, man, through
like the Hatfields and the McCoys.
That's one of the fun things about this, is since we're doing week to week, is we're kind of following these indie wrestlers around there. It's kind of fun to follow them on their little stupid career.
Why all the hate? What happened between you two?
I'm hitting YouTube when we're done. I'm going to find out.
Yeah.
Awesome Al Savage beat Half-Breed.
Awesome Al Savage.
He's
awesome.
I bet he's old.
Right?
You know, like he's probably one of those guys that's been wrestling in this little area of the country for 22 years. And
Yep.
Frankie Rhodes.
He shows up at all the shows. You got room for me tonight? Yeah, don't worry, Al. We got you booked.
Got something for me tonight, brother. Frankie Rhodes and Kevin Northcutt beat the Hard Time Express.
I've heard of Kevin Northcutt before.
And Doink the Clown on this evening was Dusty Wolf, and he beat Joe Kane.
Okay.
We have 2 more shows here.
Okay.
Southern Championship Wrestling, August 6th, Greenville, South Carolina, 283 in attendance. Freedom Fighter beat Purple Haze in a loser leaves SCW match.
Oh, no.
Hasta la vista, Purple Haze.
He can never come back again unless he dons a mask and comes back with a whole different...
I wonder when he left if he was like, "Excuse me while I kiss the sky."
Right.
SW Steel fought Steve Anderson to a draw. I know both of those names. Butcher Blackwell beat Johnny Dollar.
Johnny Dollar. House of paid.
House of Pain. If they didn't come out to jump around, that's a sin.
Right.
House of Pain, who are Mickey Freeze and Ricky Regal.
Okay. You know what? Their names match the team name.
Yeah, they roll, they work. You know,
right.
they gel. Beat Desperado and Jake Mulligan.
Okay.
Cruiser Lewis fought SWAT to a no contest.
Okay. And again, I always picture SWAT to be a tag team.
Yeah. All right, that's it for that one. One more show. Hardcore Wrestling Alliance, North Carolina, Charlotte, at Sam's Wholesale Club.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, 88 in attendance, so I'm sure this was in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting them with a humongous bag of fucking popcorn.
Right. Can we get a price check on?
Well, at least the promotion could go inside and buy their hot dogs and shit at bulk price.
We need a price check on a pallet of Cheez-Its now coming to the ring.
Coming down aisle 8.
Yeah.
Ethan Storm, because he's in the first match here, and he beat the Russian Assassin. Star Rider beat Rick Michaels.
Okay.
And Sweet Dreamer beat the Juicer. In a 2 out of 3 falls match to retain the Hardcore Wrestling Alliance Championship.
Do you think the Juicer was somebody who always bladed?
What I wonder is was Art Barr... Okay. It was Art Barr that went into WCW as the Juicer with the Beetlejuice gimmick, right?
Right.
Was he dead by this time? Is this actually Art Barr? Before we sign off, I'm gonna look it up. I want to see when Art Barr died.
I'm looking it up as well.
Okay.
Let's see.
Because is it him wrestling on all these indie shows as the Juicer?
All right. Wrestler Art Barr died in 1994.
Okay, so it's not him. It's somebody else. All right. I couldn't remember when he passed. Well, there we go. Another edition of Slice of Time is in the books, Archie, and I think we had some great indie results this week.
We did, but we're never going to find that indie name ever again. I can't even remember it for the life of me. I have to go back and listen to that first episode again. And then I have to do my research on what company that guy wrestled for.
You know what I'll do when I have some time, because since the shows air sporadically on the radio station, you'll never exactly know when it's going to be on. But I can send you the MP3 of the show,
right? And I can listen to it. So that
you can listen to it,
right?
We can do it that way. All right, everybody.
Next week I will have the name.
All right, sounds
Nate
good.
Sends it to me.
Stay tuned to WrestleNet Radio, everybody. Of course, Archie on Friday nights now.
Yeah. Just before SmackDown and AEW Rampage.
Yes, Friday night, 7 p.m. Yes, if you smell what the Arch is cooking. So Archie and I are the TGIF block here on WrestleNet Radio now. Also, of course, you can tune in for Aaron's show, the year that was 1997. He's been kind of inconsistent with recording it, so I'm not going to give you a time that you can see in the group and on the Facebook page whenever it's going to air. Of course, I will post that. Maximum Gold with myself and David Gold. A new episode will be out this Sunday of Maximum Gold. And all the other shows, the We Can't Wrestle podcast, Reliving the Extreme. I know I'm hyping the radio station on the radio station, but I'm just saying, listen to the shows, give us some support. We also would like to welcome to the WrestleNet Radio family, the Tornado Tag podcast.
Yes.
As those episodes will start airing here in just a couple of weeks on WrestleNet Radio. But I want to thank everybody for listening to us this week. We'll be back once again next Friday night to go down memory lane, Slice of Time. We'll see you 25 years ago, folks.